when you consider that the trio and most of the regular characters, particularly in early series, do not own cars, in the 37 years of Summer Wine, over 370 different vehicles are used in the show. The trio usually rely on public transport until they meet Wesley Pegden, who often gives them a lift. Clegg has a licence to drive a car and Compo has a motorbike licence, but Blaymire, Foggy and Seymour have never taken a test. So, despite admitting to not being a confident driver, Clegg is usually the one in the driver's seat. From the very first episode, the trio often use public transport. Conveniently, there seems to be a good bus service in the area. From Series 24, Electrical Entwistle usually provides the transport. So, here are the vehicles the trio owned, drove or otherwise used. In 2 episodes of Series 1, a red 1967 Leyland Leopard single-decker one-man bus operated by Huddersfield Corporation Passenger Transport Executive is seen. Compo misses this bus in the episode Shortback and Palais Glide. This is the bus in Spring Fever that his potential housekeeper arrives on. In the Series 1 episode, The New Mobile Trio, Clegg suggests buying a cheap car to get out, do more. Walter takes the trio for a test drive in a decrepit Humber Super Snipe that he describes as a snip, a super snip. Having abandoned it after a crash, the trio settle on a pre-1960 Morris Minor 1000 convertible, which suffers the same fate while Clegg is driving it. Blaymire gets enthusiastic about getting a job, despite having his pension, savings and an insurance to live off. The dodgy employer provides the trio with a van that looks like it's seen better days. Of course, it falls to Clegg to drive the dingy yellow 1965 Morris J2 van. They end up abandoning the job and the van as they fail as salesmen and the product is hazardous. Post office telephones did use J2 vans. They were green until 1968, then golden yellow was adopted for safety reasons, and some older vehicles were repainted. Although this van looks like it's been resprayed yellow, the original colour appears to be white. At the end of the Series 2 episode, Ballad for Wind Instruments and Canoe, an AEC Reliance sightseeing bus with a dual body operated by grey car coaches, stops in the car park. This hastens the exit of the trio, who were not dressed for the occasion. The sightseers got more of a sight than they expected. It seems the incident with the Morris Minor has not deterred Clegg from owning a vehicle. In the Series 2 episode, Northern Flying Circus, he sees a notice in a local newspaper that Billy Aubrey has passed away. He suggests Billy's motorbike would be something to potter about on. The trio visit the widow and come away with the 1950 Norton ES2 500cc motorbike and sidecar. On their first outing with Compo driving, they buckle the front wheel. We know Ivy sometimes sends Sid off to the wholesaler, but we rarely see their vehicle. In the Series 3 episode, Mending Stuart's Leg, Sid uses his 1969 Ford Transit van to pull Compo up a ladder on a rope to fix the roof slates. Then, in the Series 5 episode, Here We Go Again into the Wild Blue Yonder, he helps Compo get airborne with his 1973 Comma van. Then Sid uses a 1960 Bedford CA van in the Series 6 episode From Wellies to Wetsuit to transport his motorbike to tow Compo on his makeshift skis. It is rather convenient that Compo's nephew Gordon has a 1969 Ford Transit minibus for transport in the Series 3 episodes The Great Boarding House Bathroom Caper and Going to Gordon's Wedding. Neither the minibus nor Gordon are seen again after these episodes. In the Series 4 episode, Who Made a Bit of a Splash in Wales Then, Clegg suggests visiting Foggy, who's spending a fortnight in Wales with his lady friend. Sid invites himself along so Ivy can visit her sister, but Ivy won't go in their van. So Clegg hires a 1975 Ford Escort Mark II. As Clegg is the one who's paid for it, he's the one who's lumbered with the driving. He quickly demonstrates his lack of skill and confidence on the road. The trio travelled on an altogether different type of transport in the Series 5 episode Full Steam Behind, a steam train, although they spend a lot of time chasing it rather than being passengers. Number 5775 was built at Swindon in 1929 by British Rail to be used in South Wales. In 1963 it was sold to London Transport and given the number L89 and served in the capital until it was purchased for preservation by the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway in 1970. The livery used in Last of the Summer Wine was based on the London Transport livery. This is not just any steam train, but one of the engines used in the 1970 film The Railway Children. For the film it was painted in the caramel-coloured livery of the fictitious Great Northern and Southern Railway. It was restored to the caramel livery by the National Railway Museum and has been on exhibition at Oxenhope since 2017. The locomotive is now in need of extensive repairs before it can steam again. Even the station at Oakworth used in Summer Wine is the same one seen in the 1970 film and in the 2022 sequel, The Railway Children Return. In the 1981 special Whoops, realising that Christmas isn't what it used to be, the trio decide to jump off a bus before it stops and end up in a heap on the floor. Twice. It made a second brief appearance in the Series 14 episode Happy Birthday Howard. The bus has just pulled up at a bus stop, Eli misses it and gets on a refuse truck by mistake. It was repainted in London Transport livery in about 2009 for 2 episodes of Upstairs Downstairs, produced by London Weekend Television for ITV. The trio stumble across car enthusiast Wesley Pegden in the Series 6 episode Car and Garter, his first appearance in the show. Wesley is excited at the prospect of his home-built car, that he spent 2 years working on, braking 60 miles an hour in 5 seconds. In 1982, when this episode first aired, only 21 production car models had ever achieved 0 to 60 miles an hour in 5 seconds or less, so Wesley had high expectations. Foggy persuades Compo to test drive Wesley's car to try and impress Nora Batty. The custom-build car fails to perform. It stalls in a cloud of smoke. Sid has a motorbike, although that's no surprise for that era. What is surprising is that it's a Suzuki TS 250 motocross bike. It's no good for commuting, but it is ideal for trying to tow Compo on his water skis in the Series 6 episode From Wellies to Wetsuit. On the way to their self-catering holiday cottage in the December 1982 special All Mod Conned, the trio take a bus that leaves them apparently in the middle of nowhere. The bus was a 1967 Bedford VAM14 with a Plaxton Derwent body. It was originally owned and operated by the Eden Garage, West Auckland. It was sold to Tates of Morpeth, who then sold it to Connor and Graham in 1975. C and G is displayed on the front of the bus in the episode. As Compo suggests it's better than walking, the trio accept a lift in Ludovic's van in the Series 7 episode Cheering Up Ludovic. As Ludovic is very drunk, Clegg is persuaded to drive. The van is a 1966 Bedford CA chassis with a mobile shop body adapted as a camper van. Even before they get in, the front bumper and one of the wings fall off. Then the driver's door comes off and the passenger door won't open. Later, some way down the road, while the passengers are making themselves comfortable in the back, Clegg is knocked out of the van and it makes its own way into a field where, in the best tradition of all clown cars, all the side panels fall off. Sid and Ivy's fish and chip van gets a mention in Series 2, but it's not seen until the December 1983 special Getting Sam Home. It is a converted Bedford short wheelbase single-decker coach chassis with duple Midland bodywork. It was built in July 1967 at the Willowbrook factory for the Greater London Council. The trio make a nocturnal trip in the bus to get Sam home after he dies in the arms of Lily Blesser, and then take him back to Lily's as his wife has banished his coffin to the garden shed. Although official records show it was blue, the Inner London Education Authority livery colour, for the show it was painted pink. It seems the bus may have been scrapped in 1988. One of its sister vehicles has survived, shown here in January 2002, still in the Education Authority livery. This one has since been exported. After having a near miss with some track bikes, Foggy thinks he can make Compo irresistible to Nora by making him the Phantom in the Series 8 episode Enter the Phantom. Foggy modifies a sad-looking motorbike and arranges for Compo and the bike to be where Nora will see him. It's more of a moped, probably a 50cc Puch from the 1970s. Nora is not impressed as Compo and the bike speed down a hill and plunge into a river. Yorkshire Rider Kingfisher line buses appear in several episodes between Series 10 and Series 17. The 9 appearances of this type of bus were not all the same vehicle, but knowing the publicity value of appearing on TV, it's likely the company would have sent their best vehicle. Originally in Verona green and buttermilk livery, from Series 11 in 1989 we see appearances of Yorkshire Rider buses in a new, mostly green livery. The first episode featuring a bus after First Bus acquired the Yorkshire Rider fleet was in Series 18. From Series 24 in 2003, the local buses adopted the First Bus national livery of pink, blue and white. In the Series 11 episode Oh Shut Up and Eat Your Choc Ice, the trio are in a field investigating a round bale of straw when a minibus stops and the foreign tourists get out and take photographs. The MCW Metro Rider single decker was operated by K-Line Travel, who are now owned by Arriva Yorkshire as part of their Tiger fleet. Foggy suggests a money-making opportunity to operate their own car park in the Series 12 episode The Empire That Foggy Nearly Built. When the scheme develops into valet parking, Clegg is lumbered with doing the driving. His first customer is a Mercedes 280 SL convertible. New in 1980, it cost about £31,000. It's not long before we hear screeching tyres and an ominous crash. This bus was part of the normal service fleet, but was distinctive because it was not painted in the standard Yorkshire livery colours of Verona green and buttermilk. It was one of several vehicles operated by West Yorkshire Passenger Transport Executive, repainted in historic liveries to celebrate the centenary of the first municipal operator, Huddersfield Corporation, on the 11th of January 1983. The red livery is the former Huddersfield Corporation colour scheme. The seats were upholstered in London Transport District Line maquette as specified by West Yorkshire Passenger Transport Executive. After being withdrawn from service in about 2003, it was sold for preservation. In 2012, it was sold for use as the 1066 Bakeries The Double Decker Cafe in St Leonards-on-Sea. It was sold again in 2018 with the apparent intention for it to be a mobile cafe somewhere in Scotland. However, early in 2020 it was parked in a Dunfermline hotel car park. Then in August 2021 it moved to the M90 Business Park near Dunfermline. It was then offered for sale with a reserve price of £20,000. In the Series 16 episode Adopted by a Stray, the trio are gifted a 1980 Ford Transit panel van by Mr Broadbent. It's not in great shape, but Foggy is confident that Wesley can fix it up for them. There is just one problem: there is something in the back of the van they had not anticipated. Mrs Broadbent. In the Series 16 episode Once in a Moonlit Junkyard, an old flame of Compo's returns. Babs has caused a stir, arriving on a blue 1975 Honda CB750 motorbike and telling people in the area she's looking for Compo. Babs and Compo eventually ride off together. The crew had two similar bikes. Location photos show an almost identical bike, a 1970 Honda CB750 with older style black and silver number plate. It is possible the 1970 bike was a standby or used in some of the long shots. The trio meets Smiler, who is pushing a motorbike Auntie Wainwright has bought in the Series 18 episode A Sidecar Named Desire. This reminds Compo that Nora used to like a trip in a motorbike and sidecar with Wally. After crashing it without the engine even running, they get Wesley to check it over. Compo rides the 1978 Yamaha SR500 to meet Nora, who is just leaving Edie's. So instead of just taking Nora for a ride, Ivy and Pearl join them. in preference to getting a lift with Edie. In the January 2000 special Last Post and Pigeon, Wesley has found the trio a 1972 650cc Triumph Thunderbird with a sidecar. It's probably fitting that their journey to find Compo's wartime woodland campsite is in a classic motorbike rather than have them whisked along the roads in a contemporary car with all modern comforts. The bike used in the show is still on the road. In the Series 21 episode, Lipstick and Other Problems, Cooper and Walsh decide to stop a speeding biker on a trials bike only to discover it's Auntie Wainwright giving it a test run. In an off-screen negotiation, she persuades them to buy the bike. While pushing the bike home, the PCs spot the trio putting on lipstick. In another off-screen moment, the trio persuaded to buy the bike in exchange for the PC's silence about the makeup. The most significant hearse in the history of the show must surely be the 1993 Ford Cardinal hearse used as Compo's hearse in the Series 21 episode Just a Small Funeral. It was not a trick of the light, but unusually this hearse is grey. It was accompanied by two 1993 Ford Dorchester funeral cars with consecutive registration numbers. The same hearse was used in the Sky TV series Where the Heart Is that was filmed in the Huddersfield area. It can be seen in the Season 4 episode A Good Day with one of the same funeral cars. In the Series 24 episode in which Gavin Hinchcliffe loses the Gulfstream, the trio meet Miss Davenport, who is driving Gavin Hinchcliffe's 1989 Austin Maestro van. She drinks too much and gets tipsy, so once again Clegg gets lumbered with doing the driving. Although British Telecom had Maestro vans in their fleet, it's unlikely this is an ex-British Telecom vehicle, as there's no evidence of where the vinyl lettering has been removed and no sign of the fixings for a ladder rack. Tom has fixed Smiler up with a lady friend, Bessie, who thinks Smiler is wealthy in the Series 25 episode Barry Becomes a Psychopathic Killer but only part-time. So, to convince her that Smiler is broke, Clegg is persuaded to pose as Smiler's financial consultant and reveal his nest egg is worthless. Impressed with Clegg, Bessie literally carries him off and drives away on her 1979 Triumph Bonneville T140E with Clegg in the sidecar. Howard asks Clegg to look after his bike in the Series 28 episode Elegy for Small Creature and Clandestine Track Bike, which Clegg naturally assumes is a pedal cycle. It turns out to be the titular track bike, a yellow gas make enduro bike. Ironically, it is Clegg that ends up riding it. In the final ever episode, How Not to Cry at Weddings, everyone gathers at a pub to meet the coach taking them to Gloria's wedding. The 1947 Bedford OP Duple Vista was based on a version of their O-type lorry chassis. This coach was one of 8 Bedford OBs supplied to West Yorkshire Road Car Company with the fleet number 646. In 1957, it was rebuilt, including Perspex roof panels for use on the York City Tour. Model Maker's Original Classics made a 1/24th scale model of this vehicle. Clegg has the last words in the show. Although he never got to ride in the bus, he and Truly were added digitally.